What a fucking year, huh? You know what? Let's start this one off with a little poetry, which differs from my usual on-the-fly spit game. How about it? Here we are. Are we rolling? 2020. You were funny. There were times where you were annoying, like a nose that's forever runny. There were days that I was hungry, so morose I made no money. So alone, I had no honeys. Beard overgrown, I had lost all hope. I even made a podcast. They thought it was a joke. When I spoke of being woke, yet I persisted. And persisted and persisted. They thought I was legit twisted. But there was a light at the end of the tunnel. What happened to that Andy Schulz thingy that you were doing? Asked my uncle. It was fun, said my uncle. I said, Uncle, there are too many haters. He said, I'll see you later. Need to head to the laundromat. And that's when it struck me that there's got to be something. Because he thought of it. I mean, it came to his mind for a reason. Like, is it actually good? Should I get back in the game? I mean, I'm kind of rusty, and it hasn't been the same. My uncle walked back in and said, Roger, I was just making small talk. Don't look too much into the words. But if that were the case, he could have spoke of birds, or even his dark past, but no, he thought of the rodcast. So to sum it up, 2020, you fucked me plenty. Among all the things that you weren't a comedian, because now that I think about it, 2020, you weren't funny. You all right? Sorry. I don't usually do resolutions, but, recently, for the past 10 years, I thought it would help put me on track. Like, for example, one of them this year's is to make my girl finish at least 2 times. Not 2 times the year, 2 times per session. That's 1 up from last year. I didn't really meet that goal last year either, but new goals, new...
But you don't have a girl.
Yeah, well, that's on my list as well, to get a girl.
In 10 years, how many times was that your resolution?
Just about every year. But that's the point of resolutions, right? They're unattainable goals. It's like a mind trick. Sometimes I envision myself in a bathtub full of money. Just that thought right now, I could feel it releasing endorphins, serotonins, and dopamines. And that's what life's all about. Natural highs to keep you going another day. And another one. Another one. You get it, or you want me to keep?
Nah, I get it.
Another one. So resolutions, they're just a bigger version of that. A mental push to not die for another year. But that fades away in about 15 to 20 days. Natural highs, their potency is only so strong, which is why we all have to relieve ourselves for the remaining 345 and 1/4 days. Speaking of revolutions, have you seen Apollo 13?
Yeah.
It's the one where 3 astronauts, they get stuck in space.
Said I saw it.
And they were supposed to land on the moon, and they were all hyped about it, but somebody switches the fan on because it's hot in space, direct exposure to the sun and all. It just shorts and blows up. The oxygen tank gone. So they were basically fucked. And it's a true story, so please respect it. So mission control was like, just fuck it, come back, It's like a kite. You pick it up, it catches wind, you give it some slack, and you're hopeful it'll touch the sky, but it comes crashing down. And now you gotta reel it in and hope it comes back alive without oxygen. I digress. They have a limited amount of thrusts left on that ship to get them back home. In that exact way, we humanimals created these fabricated goals as thrusts to get us home. Where is home? Probably natural death. And in the film, they labeled the mission a successful failure. What better way to describe a human life? You succeeded to survive until 85, but failed to stay alive after that. You know what my biggest regret was in 2020? I didn't get laid. And I know that's my regret every year, but at least other years, there's an opportunity. There are bars, there are clubs, there are malls, restaurants, the DMV line, maybe sometimes. Theaters, if you're creative enough. Hey, you wanna go out after the... I'm sure many of you share a similar sentiment. We're all stuck at home. Don't get me wrong. Self-love is great, but after a while, it gets kind of boring. And sometimes you run out of lube, so you gotta place the order, sit by the mail all day for 7 days until it shows up because your parents check the mail. I mean, I don't have a full-time per se, but for those who do, this becomes a real task. You know, this is the first time that a microscopic virus is our biggest cock block.
You forgot AIDS.
Second time, probably. Who would have thought? China. That's right. I wish they warned me, I would have prepped up. Like my mom's been trying to put me on this arranged marriage game. Last year was the perfect time for that. That way the girl can't reject me. She's got to listen to her parents because they're pretty backward, and we mutually use each other for sex. And when the world opens up again, we're free to find our real soulmates.
Nice. And ruin her life?
That's sexist. Look, it ruins my life too.
It's your retarded plan.
Well, anywho, I know several people who were infected by this virus. So I know it's real, man. I've done my part. I took precautions. I kept safe distances, didn't attend any gatherings. You totally outed me, didn't you? Fine, I did all that. My best friends, my family, they were getting married. What was I gonna do, to sit back and watch it on Zoom? Dance in my room? Wait for my doom? How much longer will this thing control my life? I had to make a choice, as I'm sure many of you had to as well. At least I had my mask on throughout all this. I don't even know when that happened. Don't do what I did. It's stupidity, okay? Did I get bugged? Maybe. Asymptomatic? You never know. There were a lot of scares. Every time somebody coughed, whenever I felt a little weak in the legs, every time I had a headache, whenever I had boners watching Hit the Russian dance, man, I thought something was up. I thought instead of counting down to New Year's, I was counting down to the white light. I wrote down my Google passwords so people could find my digital diaries and maybe publish them so people know the genius that I was, and maybe even declare an international holiday in my memory. But alas, I survived.
Don't worry, man. The rodcast should do the trick.
Yeah, man. True that. Thanks. So I hope that being on lockdown gave you enough time to reflect on who you are, what kind of an asshole you used to be, and where you ideally would like to see yourself. I, for one, have learned that humility is very important. I'm finally at the point where I can say that I'm the most humble person that I know. And that's a great place to be. I think I'm at the pinnacle with my personality, and you're lucky to be witnessing it right here, live, on the rodcast. But I do consider myself lucky, I got through the year without testing positive. Knock on wood.